Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for a deep dive into a book that's going to make us rethink, well, pretty much everything.
Oh, I know the one you mean, The End of All Evil, right? I gotta admit, the title alone kind of makes you want to grab a helmet.
No kidding. It
Mm.
jumps right in too.
Mhm.
Like, their definition of freedom really threw me for a loop.
How so?
Well, it's not just about, rights and freedoms, it's about recognizing this, inherent, infinite value in every single person.
Okay, I can see how that sets the stage for a pretty intense look at evil, too, then.
Exactly. They
Mhm.
basically say anything that diminishes that value, anything that limits us or tries to force us into boxes, that's evil in action.
And suddenly you start seeing that everywhere, huh? Like those everyday systems we just take for granted.
Right. It's wild, but then it gets even crazier. They come out swinging, saying there's no legitimate authority, like, anywhere.
Right. No governments, no laws. Hold on.
That's what I thought. But see, they're not saying let's just have chaos. It's more nuanced than that.
Okay, so break it down for me.
So they're saying that any authority figure, whether it's like a random thief or, a whole government, is ultimately engaging in some form of enslavement.
Enslavement seems a tad dramatic, don't you think?
Maybe, but they make a point. They connect, say, someone stealing your wallet to the government taking taxes.
I see. It's about consent. Like, even if we vote for something, there's still this element of force because the alternative is, what, jail?
Exactly. It's coercion, plain and simple. And that's where they bring in the two tools of tyranny, which, honestly, one of them surprised me.
Oh, let me guess. Violence is the obvious one.
Right, like, duh, threats, imprisonment, all that. But then, culture.
Culture. Okay, how does that fit in?
They're saying it's sneaky, it shapes how we think without us even knowing it. Like, ever bite your tongue instead of calling out BS because it's impolite.
Oh, all the time. It's like we've been conditioned to be agreeable even when something's wrong.
Yep. Or how about the phrases we use? The book points out, only human, and the way of implying weakness, playing right into the hands of those in power.
Whoa, you're right. It's like by accepting that language, we're giving away our power without even realizing it.
And that leads to what might be the most unsettling idea in the whole book. Cultures are designed to keep the powerful in charge, not to help the people.
So it's not that cultures naturally evolve. It's more like they're manipulated.
Exactly. And they use examples like glorifying the hustle in our work culture, push, push, push. But who benefits in the end? Us or the ones at the top?
It makes you wonder, are we ever truly working for ourselves, or are we always serving someone else's agenda?
That's the question they want us to ask. And it's not just work, it's everything. Even democracy gets put under the microscope.
Really, I'm all for participating in democracy.
Me too, but they call it the most dangerous form of tyranny ever devised.
Okay, now they're just being provocative for the sake of it, right?
Hear them out. They argue that majority rule can still be one group imposing its will on another, and that within a democracy we all become both the oppressed and the oppressor.
I've never thought of it quite like that before. Makes you realize how easily we can get caught up in systems of control without even realizing it, huh?
Makes you wonder if there's any way out.
Right.
But the end of all evil does offer a glimmer of hope. They call it the pattern of liberty.
Okay, so what's that all about?
Well, they say it's been slowly gaining traction throughout history. And, get this, it's driven by three main things. People, tech, and our basic human need to be free.
Those are pretty big forces. How do they connect that back to liberty, though?
So, as the population grows, you automatically get more diverse viewpoints, right?
Yeah.
Harder to control everyone with one dominant culture.
Ah, I see. And technology. I mean, that can be used to control people too, right?
Totally. But it cuts both ways, doesn't it?
Right.
Think about it. We've got access to more info than ever. We can connect with anyone across the globe.
It's getting harder and harder to hide the truth or silence dissenting voices. I mean, for all its flaws, the internet has definitely shaken things up.
Right. And that leads to people questioning things, demanding more freedom.
Which is exactly what this book is encouraging us to do, right? So we've got freedom in a political and cultural sense, but then they dive into economics, which, let's be honest, impacts our everyday lives like nothing else.
Oh, yeah. And they don't hold back. They take aim at a big one. Taxes.
Taxes. I mean, everyone complains about taxes, but
Right, but they go further. They straight up call it theft.
whoa, hold on. Theft? That seems a little extreme. Isn't that the price we pay for living in a society?
That's the traditional argument. But think about it. Every time we're forced to hand over our earnings without truly consenting.
Okay, I get where they're coming from with the consent thing, but come on, we do get to vote on how that money's used.
We do. But the book argues that most of us never really agreed to the system in the first place. We're kind of just born into it, and the alternative is, well, not great.
So it's about that initial agreement.
I see. And it's not just income tax either.
Yeah.
Property tax, sales tax, even the money taken straight out of our paychecks. They see it all as potential tools of control.
Interesting. I've definitely never thought of it that way before. It makes you wonder if the system, as it exists now, truly serves us.
Right. It's like we're playing a game where the rules were written by someone else and we never got a chance to read them, and the end of all evil isn't afraid to call that out.
No kidding. They really challenge the whole foundation of how we operate as a society. It's a lot to process.
Yeah, heavy stuff. But here's the thing. The end of all evil, it's not just about pointing fingers at all the messed up systems, It actually offers some solutions, or at least a different way of thinking about things.
Okay, because it's one thing to criticize, it's another to offer alternatives. So what do they suggest?
Well, they're big on individual empowerment, like real change. It doesn't start with some revolution or some leader swooping in to save the day. It starts with each of us.
So less about top-down change, more about like grassroots personal responsibility.
Exactly. Like they want us to examine our own beliefs,
Right.
question everything we've been told, figure out what we value, and stop letting others dictate our lives.
Sounds kind of liberating when you put it like that, actually.
Right. And they say that even small acts of defiance can make a difference.
Small acts, like what? Give me an example.
Could be something as simple as saying no when someone expects you to go along with something you don't agree with. Or, I don't know, maybe you stop participating in a tradition that feels meaningless just because everyone else does it.
I see. It's about recognizing where we do have a choice and then making it.
Exactly. It's like, you ever hear that quote, be the change you want to see in the world? That's kind of what this book is getting at.
Yeah, walk the walk, right? Don't just wait for someone else to fix things.
And that's what I find hopeful. It puts the power back in our hands. It says, hey, the end of evil, it's not some fairy tale. It's a choice, our choice.
Powerful stuff. So, what's one thing our listeners can do today? Just one little act of rebellion against, well, whatever's got them feeling trapped.
I don't know, that's up to them. But maybe it is questioning a rule that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Or sticking up for someone being treated unfairly. Or, heck, even just taking an hour for themselves when the world's demanding they be productive.
Love that. Reclaiming your time, your energy. That I is an act of rebellion these days.
Right. So there you have it, everyone. The end of all evil. Not exactly a light read, but definitely got us thinking. And hopefully you too.
Absolutely. Sometimes you need a good mental shakeup to see things with fresh eyes.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, remember, you have more power than you think. Use it.